God told me to warn you. Someone wealthy and strange will choose you. You're moving. There is a reason your attention paused here today. Out of all the messages you could have seen, something inside you felt drawn to this one, and that feeling is not something to ignore. Lately, you may have sensed that life is quietly shifting beneath the surface, even if nothing around you seems dramatically different yet. Small thoughts have been appearing at unexpected moments. Certain dreams may have felt more vivid. Familiar places may feel slightly less familiar than they once did. Stay with this, because there is something important here. What you have been feeling is not confusion. It is awareness. Deep within yourself, you are beginning to recognize that you are not standing at the end of a chapter. You are standing at the doorway of one. For a long time, you have carried responsibilities, questions, and expectations that others never fully understood. You learned how to keep moving even when answers were missing. You learned how to smile through uncertainty and continue forward when no clear path appeared. But something has been changing inside you. The version of yourself that accepted being overlooked is slowly fading away. In its place, a stronger and quieter confidence is emerging. It is not loud. It does not demand attention. Yet it changes everything. Sometimes life prepares you for new experiences long before they arrive. Before a new opportunity appears, your perspective begins to shift. Before a new connection enters your life, your heart starts creating space for it. Before a new environment welcomes you, your spirit begins loosening its attachment to the old one. What makes this moment so interesting is that it does not seem connected to anything obvious. You may look around and wonder what exactly is changing, yet the feeling remains. Somewhere ahead, there is a person whose path is gradually moving closer to yours. This individual is different from what you would normally expect. Their life experiences, habits, and way of seeing the world may feel unusual at first. They have achieved things that many people admire, yet they often feel misunderstood because they do not think like everyone else. While others focus on appearances, they pay attention to character. While others rush to judge, they take time to observe. Without realizing it, your story and their story have already begun moving toward the same point. Don't miss what comes next, because the most meaningful connections rarely arrive in the way people imagine. And there is another feeling that has been quietly growing inside you, whether you have spoken about it or not. It is the feeling that you may not remain exactly where you are forever. This is not about running away from your life. It is about growing beyond old limits. Sometimes a place serves its purpose for a season, and then life gently invites you somewhere new, emotionally, mentally, or even physically. The signs are often subtle at first: a growing curiosity, a sudden interest in possibilities you never considered before, a sense that your future contains rooms you have not yet entered. What is remarkable is that these separate threads are connected in ways you cannot fully see yet. The unusual person, the feeling of movement, and the inner transformation are all part of the same unfolding story. And in the next part, you will begin to understand why these changes seem to be arriving together. Some changes arrive with noise, but the most meaningful ones often arrive in silence. Before anyone else notices them, before there is evidence you can point to, they begin as a quiet feeling that follows you throughout the day. You may have experienced moments recently when you looked at your surroundings and felt grateful, yet strangely aware that you are becoming someone new. It is an unusual feeling because nothing appears wrong, and yet something inside you keeps whispering that there is more ahead. Stay with this. The reason this feeling has been growing stronger is because your attention is slowly being guided away from what has already been experienced and toward what is still waiting to be discovered. Life has a way of preparing your heart long before it reveals the next destination. The person whose path is moving closer to yours is not drawn to the same things that attract most people. Their life has taught them lessons that created a unique way of seeing the world. While others may chase status or approval, this individual has learned to value authenticity. They notice details that most people overlook. They pay attention to kindness that is never announced. They recognize strength that exists beneath calmness. What makes this connection meaningful is not what they have accomplished or what they possess. It is the fact that they are searching for something genuine in a world that often feels rushed and distracted. In ways neither of you fully understands yet, your qualities reflect something they have been hoping to find. Not perfection, not performance, simply sincerity. And that is becoming increasingly rare. At the same time, there is an internal shift happening within you that deserves attention. The person you were a year ago may not have been ready for the opportunities that are now slowly approaching. Growth often happens so gradually that you do not notice it while it is occurring. Yet when you look back, you realize how much has changed. The challenges you survived taught you patience. The disappointments taught you discernment. The waiting taught you resilience. What once felt like obstacles now look more like preparation. There is something important here. Many people assume that transformation begins when circumstances change. In reality, circumstances often change because transformation has already begun within. Your perspective has expanded, and because of that expansion, new possibilities can finally enter your view. The interesting part is that movement is becoming a recurring theme throughout this season of your life. Not rushed movement, not forced movement, natural movement. The kind that happens when a person has outgrown a previous version of themselves. You may soon find yourself thinking differently about where you belong, what inspires you, and what kind of future feels aligned with your heart. What once felt permanent may begin to feel temporary. What once felt distant may suddenly feel possible. And as these thoughts become clearer, another realization will begin to emerge, one that connects directly to the unusual person who is slowly approaching your story. The connection between them and the feeling of moving forward is far deeper than it first appears. In the next part, that hidden connection begins to reveal itself. Sometimes the most important realization arrives when you stop searching for it. It appears during an ordinary moment, and suddenly pieces that once seemed unrelated begin fitting together. The feeling that your life is changing, the growing sense that you are being drawn toward something new, and the presence of an unusual person moving closer to your path are not separate stories. They are different parts of the same journey. For a long time, you may have believed that growth meant becoming stronger alone. But now you are beginning to discover another truth. Some chapters are not only about personal growth, they are about meeting people whose presence helps you see yourself more clearly than ever before. What makes this future connection different is the way it develops. It is not built on excitement alone. It is built on recognition. There will be something familiar about this person, even though they come from experiences very different from your own. Their life may seem unusual to you at first. Their choices, routines, or perspective may not fit the expectations you once had. Yet beneath those differences, you will notice something comforting. You will sense a depth that feels real, a calmness that does not need attention, a confidence that does not need to be displayed. They may see qualities within you that others overlooked simply because they were looking in the wrong places. And when someone truly sees you, something powerful begins to change inside your heart. At the same time, another realization is quietly forming. The idea of movement is becoming less abstract and more personal. Perhaps it begins with a thought that returns again and again. Perhaps it starts with curiosity about a place, an opportunity, or a lifestyle that once seemed far away. What matters is not the exact form it takes. What matters is the feeling behind it. You are no longer being pulled by fear of staying where you are. You are being pulled by inspiration toward what could be. That is a very different kind of motivation. It feels lighter, more natural, more aligned with who you are becoming. The future does not always announce itself with certainty. Sometimes it simply invites you to become curious enough to take the next step. As these pieces continue coming together, you may notice a surprising shift in your perspective. Instead of asking why things have taken so long, you begin asking what those extra seasons of waiting have taught you. Instead of focusing on what did not happen, you start appreciating what was quietly developing beneath the surface. There is something important here. The timing of your growth and the arrival of certain opportunities may be more connected than you realize. The person moving closer to your story, the inner transformation you have experienced, and the growing sense that life is expanding beyond familiar boundaries are all preparing you for a deeper understanding. And in the next part, you will begin to see why this chapter feels less like coincidence and more like a meaningful turning point.